Hi guys, welcome back to Redlands Rundown. This is your podcast for all things Redlands, from career to advising and everything in between. Today we have a very special guest with us. Dr. Kacey Daniels is here. She is our Executive Director of Student Services, and right now we are going to be celebrating our National First Generation College Student Week. And there's really not anyone better to tell us a little bit about their journey and the first gen experience than someone who's done it themselves. So this is Kacey, and she's here with us, and we're really excited to have her. You're a Redlands alumna, and you also serve as the Executive Director of Student Services, which is really, really exciting. And you came from Upward Bound, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and when did you start this job? Past August?
I started July of 2024.
Okay, perfect. Well, we're really excited to have you. I think you can tell us a lot about just your journey of what it means to be a devoted student and your testament of the drive it takes to sometimes go through as a first-generation student. So we want to talk a little bit more about you and what being a first-generation student means to you personally.
So I grew up with a single mom, and I would say I probably wasn't the smartest in high school. I did not take concurrent classes in high school because my ACT was not high enough. So I thought when I came to college that I would have a late start. But that was not the case. I got my associate's degree here at Redlands Community College. I chose Redlands because it had small class sizes, and that's what I was used to. I went to Hinton High School, and I had 39 in my graduating class. So that really appealed to me here at Redlands. I went on to get my bachelor's degree and master's degree in education. And then a couple years ago, I decided to get my doctorate degree. And
as you heard.
And I have it now.
Yeah.
So, that's a little bit about my education. And then I think just being a first-generation student to me means breaking down those barriers that are kind of set up from the beginning, and just really trying to get to your end goal.
Did you always know that you were going to college?
I did, just because my mom made sure that I was going to go to college. Since she did not go to college, that was really instilled in me from a young age that that's just what you're going to do after high school.
What was that moment like for you when you realized, okay, I'm going to be the first one that does this in my family?
I think it was just feeling that, wow, I finally did this.
Yeah.
You know, just feeling that all of the dedication, all of the hard work really paid off.
My dad is a first-generation student, and he will always talk about how his aunt, who helped raise him, always said, like, you're going, you're going, you're going. And when it finally came time, she said, you're going or we're going. And that was kind of what it took for him. Like, he knew from the get-go, this is happening, but it can be so intimidating when it's never been done before and you don't have anyone kind of as that guiding light for you.
It can be intimidating. I remember walking into the doors, the admission doors at Redlands, and not knowing the first thing to do, which it's really full circle because I walked in those doors as a student, and now it's the department that I direct.
Right.
But I hooked up with an advisor there, and she was my saving grace, and she helped me with, this is the plan that we're going to have. These are the classes that you should take. She also told me about being an ambassador, so I became an ambassador for Redlands. So she really helped me along that journey. I remember them telling us about FAFSA, and I had no idea what that meant.
Right, yeah.
And I went home and I told my mom, and she said, I don't know what you're talking about, but I will help you with whatever you need.
Yeah.
So I always tell students, having parental support is the biggest thing that you can have, because you're going to need that going to college. And statistically, if you have it, you will be more successful.
Absolutely. Well, you touched on this a little bit, but maybe could you tell us some of the early challenges you maybe did face early on, whether that be like socially, emotionally, financially even, or academically?
So socially, I was not the most outgoing person. I really think getting involved as an ambassador helped me with that. It made me be in situations that I probably wouldn't have been in, to meet people, to get familiar with campus. So I definitely think getting familiar with your campus is important.
Right.
And get involved in something, you know, a sport, be it become an ambassador, do something on campus. Financially, I qualified for Oklahoma's Promise. That's how I went to school. I also qualified for full Pell, but I also worked full-time too. So I think definitely finances were stretched when I was in college, as they usually are.
Right.
And then academically, I made A's and B's in college, but I remember one specific class, and I'm not going to name where it was at or what class it was, but the class was based on 4 tests, and that was your grade.
Oh, wow.
And I am a horrible test taker. So I was in that class. I withdrew. Then I tried it again, and I ended up failing. So I have an F on my transcript. And I think at that moment I thought, is college really for me? But I ended up taking that class at a different college, transferring the credit, got a B in it there. So I really think the class was just not that great for me where I took it.
Yeah.
But I definitely say then I really felt like, man, I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's such an encouraging story for students to hear, is that one F or that one bad grade or that one hard class does not have to define anything. I remember there's a class that I also will not name names about, but it just about took me to my knees. And I thought, I am going to lose my scholarship. Everything is going wrong. And then it turned out to be fine. But I think in those moments, it feels like, how do I ever survive this? And if you don't have someone to tell you, it's going to be okay.
It definitely feels in the moment that this is the end of the world.
Right.
But really, it's just you struggled in a class. So you shouldn't let those intrusive thoughts get in your head that I'm not college material.
Right. Yeah.
Really, it's just you're not doing well in this class.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit maybe about, did you ever feel like you had to figure it out on your own?
I would say probably when I started here at Redlands, I was a little I didn't know how to navigate college life, but really meeting my advisor and her really helping me and telling me, this is what FAFSA is. This is, where you go for financial aid. All of those things that really help. So I would just suggest make sure that you know somebody on our campus that can be your, cheerleader in your corner type of person.
I think that's such a good point too, because especially here we have so many resources and so many people that want to help. And I know it's intimidating, even as someone that had people before me that went to college, there's still things you don't know. And so getting plugged in and finding people that want to help you and can help you is so important.
Absolutely.
You've talked about a moment that you felt like, okay, maybe college isn't for me, but was there a moment that you decided, I can do this. This is right for me, and I can handle this?
I think so. I think it would just be each graduation that I've had. So I've made it a point to walk at every degree that I get. And I remember my Redlands graduation, as hot as it was in the gym.
Right.
And we did not have AC. It's in a lot better location now. But just knowing at that moment, I did it.
Yeah.
All of the hard work, all of the late nights, the dedication that you put in, it's finally paid off.
For sure. That's awesome. So you've talked a lot about your mom. Was she like your greatest sense of support probably when you started college?
I would say so. She was always there encouraging me to go, even when it would be difficult or, I might be busy at work and think about, if I just took a break, and she's like, no, you're not going to take a break. Yeah. So I'm so thankful that she was smarter than I was at that time. But also, just having support at Redlands when I was here, just if it's a teacher, if it's an advisor, a staff member, somebody that just says, hey, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. Like that goes a long way.
Absolutely. Were there any moments that you really did think like, I'm giving this up. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And if that did happen, was there something that kept you going?
Well, I definitely felt that way in my doctorate degree. That is difficult.
Yeah, that's a different beast.
It is. And I think just getting the imposter syndrome is anywhere, regardless if you're in to get your associate's degree or your bachelor's degree. we all get in our head and say, I'm not smart enough for this, or this shouldn't be me, this should be somebody else. And so I think just remembering that those are intrusive thoughts and we shouldn't let them in, that's really not reality.
Right.
So I think I definitely had to remind myself a lot when I would get my dissertation back and it would have all these edits. And I just thought I was on the right track. Where did I go wrong?
Right.
But just really remembering, like, it's hard right now, but just get through this. Get through the day, get through the week, and then it's going to pay off.
I think that what you said about imposter syndrome is so I think we all go through it, but I've definitely experienced it. The older I get, the more I feel like I experience it, which is funny because you'd think the older I get, the more confident I am. Like, and I think that's about that we have. But I know even in my master's program, like I will read other people's discussion posts after I turn mine in, and I'm like, oh, I didn't understand that at all. Like, you guys are so much smarter than I am.
I know.
And they probably are smarter than me, but at the same time, that's not the reality of it because I'm still making a good grade. But you read those things or you get those edits back and it's like, oh no, I really thought I had done that correctly. And now I'm all in my head and who knows what people actually think.
You do. You really can get in your head and create a lot of false narratives.
Yes. How did your identity as a first-gen student shape the way that you did approach like your academics and your campus life and friendships? And does it maybe still impact the way that you approach those things to a degree?
I think so. It shaped nearly every part of my experience, but just the determination. I think, when you are first generation, you automatically have barriers, that you need to overcome. So when you do overcome those, just the determination that you have, I think is key to being successful.
Yeah. So you've talked just a little bit about this, about how you went from being a first-gen student here to undergrad and then becoming the executive director of student services. What inspired you to stay in higher ed and give back and even to come back to Redlands itself?
So whenever I graduated with my master's degree, I was teaching at a local public school nearby. And I heard about an opportunity at Redlands with their Upward Bound program to be an education specialist. And they said, you get to interact with high school students and take them to do all this fun stuff. And you don't really have to teach them, curriculum.
Yeah.
I thought that sounds great.
Sign me up.
Sign me up for that. So I ended up getting that job here, and then I ended up directing the program for 7 years. But I think what really drew me to higher ed was because I don't ever want a student to feel like they don't belong. And I think that's still how I am today. If you're struggling, come and talk to us. If you feel like, you don't have your people here, or if you're not belonging to a group or a club, whatever it may be, that we can really hook you up with those resources and let you know that you are welcomed here.
And I feel like you've done a really good job of building a team that shows that and having that open door policy and letting students know there's so many of us here and we're all here to serve the same purpose, which is to help you at the end of the day.
We do have a great team in there, and I think every one of them cares about students and their success.
Do you think that your experience has maybe informed the way that you do lead and advocate for students?
I think so, definitely. It's going to make me push, for the underdog, for the first gen person, and that, we do need to have those resources. And at Redlands, we have so many resources for our first generation students and for our students. And, sometimes it just takes somebody telling you about those.
Right.
I remember when I was in Upward Bound, I had a parent tell me, you got our son the Oklahoma's Promise Scholarship. And I said, well, I didn't do that. I'm not writing that check. He said, no, but you told us about it. You helped us fill it out and you sent it in the mail.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow. I mean, sometimes it does just take somebody knowing something you don't, telling you about it, providing you with that resource that is life-changing.
Yeah, and that's such a special thing. I know I have students that come to me all the time, and what they say they want to do when they grow up is help people. And I think just like that example, there's so many things that you don't realize that you have done that really did change someone's life.
Yeah, something so small, just taking 5 minutes out of your day to say, this is how you fill it out. That really makes a big impact on somebody.
Absolutely. So as a former, or I guess still a current first-gen student, you've just graduated with all the degrees you can get at this point in time.
And never going back to school.
And as someone who's leading the or the student services, what advice would you have for faculty and staff maybe when it comes to supporting those first-gen students?
I think just being approachable and encouraging, making a student feel like they can come and talk to you is huge. And then also, being their cheerleader, being encouraging, saying, you're doing a great job, just a little word of encouragement. I think our faculty and staff do a great job of that here at Redlands. And I think the students can tell that they really do care about them.
Absolutely. I did actually a student interview that'll come out, or probably has come out by the time we've seen this. And it's funny because that was one of the things that he mentioned was everyone really is so helpful. Like everyone is so passionate about helping students with whatever questions they come with. And that's something Macy and I talk about a lot on here is I feel like our goal as an institution is to break barriers on an individual level for anyone and whatever problem they may have. And I think that's something that makes us really unique here is that.
Yeah, and if it's just something simple of let me walk you to the registrar's office. Right. Have that conversation. Our president, Dr. Marr, is really big on that, and I think that's something that has, been wonderful to see implemented here.
Well, if you could go back in time and maybe give yourself some advice, or you were speaking to a first-gen student today, what do you think you would want them to know, especially maybe someone who is struggling silently and doesn't know where to go or who to ask for help?
To not give up, to talk to somebody, no matter who it is, talk to somebody. They should point you in the right direction. But just because you're having a bad day or you're struggling, there are resources and you can get through it.
Yeah. Speaking of resources, are there resources and programs here on campus that maybe you feel like students should be going to, especially first gen?
Absolutely. So we do have a program here on campus, Upward Bound, and it is for high school students that are low income first gen. They serve 6 area high schools, but students can enter that program either their 8th or 9th grade year of high school, and they stay in that program until they graduate. The goal is for students to not only get into college, but graduate successfully. So I think that's a great opportunity if you're in high school and you're interested in going to college and that's what you want to do. And then we have TRIO Student Support Services, which I think you had Amy on here as well. And, that is a great service that offers tutoring, academic advisement, workshops that go on field trips. It's an excellent program for first gen. We also have Veterans Upward Bound. That's for low-income students or for military veterans who want to achieve their academic goals.
We really do have so many resources, and we even have counseling services here on campus. And I really think that's one of the things that makes us so unique is we really are, whether we're small or not, we're so well resourced to serve whoever and whatever need it might be. So on that note, how can first-gen students maybe find community and connection on campus?
I think just getting involved in programs or organizations, going to the student events, going to career services events.
Please.
We offer a lot of things, and I think just going and getting yourself out there, and it might be uncomfortable in the beginning, but I'm sure you'll meet somebody. You'll get something free to eat.
Absolutely.
You'll learn something.
Right.
I think really just try to get involved on your campus because statistically, if you feel like you belong, you are going to be here for a longer rate and become successful.
What does First Gen Week mean to you, and why is it so important to recognize it?
So First Gen Week to me means, personally, it means that all of the barriers that I had, I was able to overcome.
Yeah.
And I think that that's huge. I also think just for all first generation students, it's knowing that our perseverance, dedication, breaking through those barriers, like we did it. It mattered. and we achieved what we said we were going to. And we broke that cycle of first gen for our families.
I think that's so wonderful. I don't think people realize, like, you've already started breaking glass ceilings the second that you do that. I always like to do when I'm hosting a little rapid fire round. And so we're into that segment now. Are you ready?
Is it really rapid?
It can be.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So what is one word that describes your college experience?
I would say transformative.
One thing you wish someone had told you as a first-gen freshman?
That it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to have all the answers.
First big college win you celebrated?
I would say getting an A in a subject that I struggled with.
Book or quote that helped keep you grounded?
No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Eleanor Roosevelt.
That's a great one. Best mindset shift you had in college?
So I think I had this every time, but that time is going to pass regardless. So you might as well go ahead and go to school.
Yeah, that's true. Favorite Redlands tradition or memory?
I have a couple. I would say being an ambassador is something I will always remember, going in the Christmas parade on a float, but also our graduation every year. It's so fun to be a part of that, to see students that you see every day finally celebrating with their families that they accomplished that.
And then one word of encouragement for today's first-gen students.
To persevere. Even when it's overwhelming, keep going.
Absolutely. I think that is so encouraging, and I think a lot of students will take this and run with it. And it was really good to hear about your experience and to see someone who had that experience and has now become the executive director of student success, and Dr. Kacey Daniels, and all that you've accomplished. So thank you for sharing your experiences and just for being so committed to student success, and especially to our students. So
Thank you.
With that, we are done for today. But don't forget to check out our first gen events that may be happening around campus or around other campuses, because it is a big celebration for a lot of people. And make sure to check out Redlands Rundown. We are on all the places that you can get your podcast, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.